What is going on, YouTubeverse? John Stanek from Johnny Radio here, bringing you another Viva La Vinyl classic album review, and I couldn't be more excited than to be talking to you about this 1993 classic, Verses by Pearl Jam, one of my favorite bands of all time, and definitely in my top 3 favorite Pearl Jam albums of all time, which is really saying something because you got 10, you got Vitology, you got Yield, so many great records, but this is just so solid from start to finish. And let me just say, in case you're wondering why the artwork is slightly different, this is a remastered version, so they changed the artwork. And what I always thought from the front view was a dog trying to break through this fence. It's actually a sheep all along. So I learned something new today. And also, the production, the remaster was done by Brendan O'Brien, who was the original producer. So there really wasn't a lot to fix on the audio here, especially because in '93, this was just so raw and passionate. Just the sound of it, especially compared to 10, which is a classic. This is just the band, you can tell they really came together and honed down their sound, and just that opening 1-2 punch of Go and Animal is maybe one of the most aggressive 2-song openers of any rock album that I can think of, aside from maybe like the Battle of Los Angeles by Rage Against the Machine, but they rock hard on every song. So man, it's just like those 2 3-minute songs are so powerful, and Vedder just comes across like so unbridled, like yes, it is on. And then Jeff Ament, his sliding bass on Go is just so awesome. Dave Abruzzi's drumming, which he's one of the best drummers Pearl Jam ever had. And then Mike McCready, really the MVP of Pearl Jam, I always say. I mean, you got Vedder as the songwriter and the voice, but McCready's guitar solos, man, they're just nuts on these first 2 songs. And on Animal especially, they really set the tone for this record, kind of a theme where Vedder says 5 against 1 a bunch of times, where he's basically saying the 5 members of Pearl Jam versus the world. And it's really kind of where 10 was a little bit more introspective. He was writing a lot of songs about his father and relationships. This one is them taking on societal issues, like on Glorified G, a few songs later, he's talking about guns. And it's not my favorite song musically, but I like that they're taking a stand on an issue, which is still very much prevalent today. Then you've got songs like WMA, which is short for White Male American, which is about white privilege and police brutality, 2 things that are very much in the news today. So Pearl Jam in '93 was really ahead of the times on these societal issues that are still going on. And although I don't always agree with their politics, I've always respected the fact that they speak up for what they believe in. You've got songs also like Daughter, which they tell a story, and it's about an issue, abuse, whether it's physical. You don't really get... You can kind of sense what it's about. It's almost like a sister song to Jeremy from a female perspective. And she's saying, don't call me daughter. And you get these kind of hints through imagery where Vedder says violins, but it sounds like violence. So it's really, it paints a picture in your mind, and it's really a beautiful ballad, one of their best. But it definitely makes you think. And that's one of the best things about Eddie Vedder's songwriting, is that he always, whether he's really rocking out on songs like Blood, which is one of their most bludgeoning rock songs, where he's saying, it's my blood, where he's basically talking about taking responsibility as an author, saying, it's my blood that I'm putting on the paper for you people. And what's cool is Vedder is kind of all over the map on here, but there's that recurring theme of animals on songs like Rats, where he's kind of comparing human beings to animals, that kind of primal thing where a lot of this is very dark, where he's saying, you know, as human beings, we have all these issues. But then there's songs like Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town, which is about the beauty of humanity and remembering where you come from and saying, I just want to say hello. I love that part of that song. It's so beautiful, and it almost has kind of a country vibe to it. So while most of this is very hard rock, you have these moments of ballads that is really what sets Pearl Jam apart as being just one of the best all-time rock bands. They can do it all. The closer on here, Indifference, is right up there with Release as one of their best album closers of all time, where, again, I think one of the most brilliant things about his songwriting is he doesn't always have the answers, but he always poses some really great questions. And the chorus of that song is a big question, saying, how much difference does it make? Where on the verses, he's saying, like, I will hold up the candle until it burns up my arm. He's very devout, but then he's questioning himself on the verses, saying, how much difference do I really make as a human being? So it's just an amazing record. It's about humanity, about the pitfalls of it, but also about the beauty of it. And there's so many great songs. I didn't even mention Rearview Mirror, which is one of the songs that they usually close out their epic 30-plus song concerts with. I think I mentioned most of the rest of them. Dissident, another great song. It's just solid from start to finish. I struggle with the grade because going into this review, I give this album an 8 out of 10, but it might have to even be higher. Maybe even an 8.5, somewhere in that range. But it's really hard to grade albums when you think about it. But this is definitely one that you just have to own. It is one of the best records to come out of the 90s and certainly one of Pearl Jam's best. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you checking out my channel. I've got so many more reviews, top 5s every Friday, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think and what are your favorite tracks on here. If I had to pick 2 favorites, it may be the opening 2-punch, Going Animal. I mean, they get me like banging on my steering wheel, and I love it when I'm listening in the car. So guys, thank you again so much for watching, and as always, Viva La Vinyl. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that jazz. Check out some of my other content that you can see on the screen now. Thank you again for supporting Johnny Radio. Take care, and I'll see you soon.